we receive like sometimes it's over 1,000 faxed in a week.
We use the term Fax Wrangler.
Wrangler.
Think of like an old West Wrangler. Every single day is they wrangle faxes. Well, hey, good day and welcome to the Offsite Team Podcast. I am here with my good friend April, and we are here to help local DME and respiratory supply companies try to find dependable, affordable employees. And today we're going to talk about the ugly problem. There's just a pain in the rear end of faxes and how the best way to handle faxes in a DME business and a respiratory business, because it's a necessary evil. And, how do we handle faxes? Hey, how are you today, April?
I'm good. Been busy. How are you?
Likewise, I've been busy as well too. We, here in Yakima, I don't know if you even know this. We just put up a brand new LED sign in front of our business. It's one of those signs that move, and it'll, like right now it says happy, because it's almost July. Even though this podcast is going to come out in July, it has a big American flag across it that says Happy 4th of July on it. But
that's nice.
It's really cool. But the thing is, our customer traffic into our store has just skyrocketed up because we have this new sign, which is really, really cool. And that kind of ties into, so all of our US based workers we're spending more and more time taking care of our in-store patients walking into our store, which is nice that we have such a large offsite staff taking care of all of our paperwork and this and that. And today we're going to talk about the problem of faxes. I was thinking, as we're getting ready for this podcast and before, do you know what we used to do every day before we had offsite team members with faxes?
I actually have no idea.
No. So what we used to do is, as faxes would come across, we would work on the faxes in between every customer coming into our store. But I'd like to think, because we take such great care of our customers, we had more customers coming into our stores. We had more faxes coming in every day. It was our store closes at 6 p.m. Our CSRs, our customer service representatives, would be here between 7 and 8 every single night, just inputting all the daily faxes in for the night. Because, the way we do process, unless it comes across electronically, sometimes, most of them all come across electronically now. But even the fax comes across, and we use Brightree. And then the fax needs to be entered into, we upload it electronically, so it's in the patient file. But let's say the patient's not in Brightree, then we have to put the patient in Brightree. And all that takes a lot of time. And so our team members were here between 7 and 8 o'clock every single night, sometimes even as late as 8:30. Once we hired offsite team members, and the term we use, this is a little weird. I was sharing this with my friend. We use the term Fax Wrangler. Think of like an old West Wrangler where they're wrangling cattle. But we actually have a number of Fax Wranglers where all they do every single day is they wrangle faxes. And it was a great answer. And so we don't have to deal with that anymore in terms of staying late. So typically, you've been here to Yakima where, store closes at 6. We've counted the till. And frequently, unless there's a customer in the store, our CSRs can leave at 6:10, 6:15, and we're done for the night. Because we have offsite team Fax Wranglers, it has really, really freed us up. Now, your husband also works for our offsite team, and he has previously been a Fax Wrangler. So tell me a little bit about the process. How do we wrangle faxes?
So first is when we get the documentation on our fax lines. We have several fax lines.
We have lots of fax lines. We have fax lines directly through Brightree. We use another software that allows for text messaging of customers, and all of our faxes come through electronically. We don't actually have a fax machine, so they come across. So what's he do with them?
When he received the documentation, first is he checked what type of documentation it is, and then find the patient's account, depending on the date of birth or what the information we receive. And if there's no account, then that's the time that it takes a while.
You have to manually put the account in. Absolutely.
Yes. We have to create one for that patient. And then once we upload the documentation, what we do is we put notes on the patient's account that we notify. And then we go to the other platform that we use in terms of communication with the other team members, where you and then the rest of the team can communicate in one platform, which is Basecamp.
Basecamp is what our company uses to talk amongst ourselves. I'm not pushing Basecamp. Maybe they should give me some money for pushing them. But yeah, we use Basecamp. You can use your whatever your intra-company messaging service. Now, maybe a small DME, just like, hey, Johnny, we got the fax from Dr. Smith's office. But yeah, so we then Basecamp it to whatever store needs to know that, hey, this came in.
Yes. So notify them, let them know that we upload all the documents, and then the store, the team members on site can now work on the documentation that the Fax Wrangler have uploaded and then created the account. They don't even have to create one, which helps, because I can't imagine, like when you mentioned what you guys are doing before, we receive like sometimes it's over 1,000 faxed in a week. So
yeah, we
imagine, right? Imagine staying late just to handle all the other faxes that we received that we weren't able to handle on time.
And exactly what also happens, sometimes those faxes come in, we actually want to let the customer know we have your fax, because they might feel they need to come into the store. Well, if it's for an item like a CPAP machine, they can come into the store. We can't give it to them yet because we don't have the prior authorization for the PAP machine, but we also want them to know we have it. And it's vitally important for them to know that we have it, so they don't go to our competitor. And we all know that will happen if we don't contact them. So if we get a fax today, we can say, hey, April, just want to let you know, Dr. Smith sent me this fax. We have it. It looks like you have state Medicaid or you have Medicare. These are the requirements. As soon as we get this, we can then dispense your CPAP machine or walker or whatever it happens to be. We know all that. So we can call you and let you know, do you want to pick that up today? If it's something that doesn't require pre-authorization, or this is the time frame it's going to take, because it might be like a power wheelchair, which can take, sometimes a little bit past 30 days to get the documentation exactly correct, so we know what's going to get paid. But that way they know that we're working on it. So not only do our Fax Wranglers get that, with our business, who's making the phone call saying, hey, we got it? Is it the Fax Wrangler, or do we hand it off to our communications team?
We actually hand it off to our communications
team. So the communications team then calls and gets that set up and exactly
Yes.
has that conversation. And some of those are offsite. We have communications team members
Yes.
in the Philippines. We also have communication team members in the United States. So we have both in regards to the communications team. So the Fax Wranglers take care of that. And now, are they doing, let's say, insurance verification? Because if we get someone, we have their date of birth, are the Fax Wranglers running insurance verification at the same time?
Yes, they can also run the insurance verification. They want to make sure that it's not just uploading documentation. They have to know how to run the eligibility, at least to make sure that before we transfer over the tasks to different team members, then everything is complete.
And that's vitally important to know what insurance the patient has. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a customer comes to our medical supply and let's say we get a fax for them and they have the insurance CareCentrix. And I'm just going to pick on CareCentrix because their reimbursements are so bad. Our company has never been contracted with them. But even though we're not contracted, it's the right thing for us to call that customer and say, hi, customer, I'm sorry, we want to let you know we got your prescription for this item. We do see that you have CareCentrix. Unfortunately, we don't work directly with them. And then, like for someone like CareCentrix, what we do is we do know the one insurance company that's contracted with CareCentrix, but then it also gives us the opportunity to say, hey, do you want us to send this to this insurance company, which does have, handle CareCentrix, and they can go down that road if they would like to. And we all know that that's going to be miserable for them and they may or may not be able to actually ever get that item. Or we can say, you know what, it's not going to be covered. We do have this item in stock. Would you like to pay cash for it? And we have that happen frequently, don't we? Where someone says, oh, yes, we do have it, but we've let them know ahead of time. And that actually turns into a really quick sale. Because let's say if it's a walker, they don't mind. They might have the money to drop anywhere between $60 for a little folding walker on up to $450 for a really nice European four-wheel walker. But the Fax Wranglers allow us to work that process even faster, which not only lets us take great care of our customers, it takes care of the doctor, it takes care of our store, and it's really, really efficient, isn't it?
Yes.
That was really cool. So your husband got hired by Offsite team and he was working faxes. And what I loved about your husband is he not only just was working the faxes, he automated a large portion of the process, because in the fax process, there's let's be honest, we have the same notes that go in over and over and over again. So I would say what our team does is we can process faxes really fast because we've automated a lot of the process. You'll hear me say frequently, here's my mouse, even though it's kind of blurred out, but don't mouse around. If there's a hotkey that can be used, because a lot of the things we just know, we got this, we put the note in, we don't need to type out that same note every single time on the keyboard. We can use generic notes because it is like, hey, we got the fax, and your husband automated a large part of the fax processing, the fax wrangling process, and it allows us to process as many faxes as we do correctly. And a lot of it's all about doing it effectively or efficiently, isn't it?
Efficiently, yes.
And so that's something like, if you ever do hire an offsite team Fax Wrangler from offsite team, what we're going to do is we're going to train them into the offsite team way of wrangling faxes so they can wrangle more faxes faster, which they're happy about it. We're happy about it. The customers are happy about it because it's like, how fast can we do this? So not so, we make more money, which all of us will, but so we can spend more time with the customer. I would rather say I can spend 15 minutes with a customer and 1 minute reading the notes in the account that the Fax Wranglers put there than spending 15 minutes doing all the documentation myself and only 1 minute with the customer. Because if we spend more time with the customer, it means a better customer experience. It also means we should be able to make more money as a DME, doesn't it?
Yes, I agree.
So, and you know what? So April, we have a Fax Wrangler ready to be placed in the company right now, don't we?
Yes, we have one.
She is all ready to be placed. But in the meantime,
yes, we have
until we place her with another company, what we're going to do is she'll just keep wrangling faxes for us. And it actually adds some nice redundancy for our team members going on summer vacation. But even when she gets placed on another team, then what we do is we then do another job post in the Philippines. And then what we do is then we're going to train the next one and then the next one and the next one. Because our role with offsite team is we want to equip others. So it's going to be easier and easier to lead your DME business as well as your respiratory company. It's a great and very easy process. So April and I would absolutely love to talk to you guys about this. So if there's something that you guys would like to talk about, reach out to us on offsiteteammember.com and we'd love to talk about this. And you know what? I didn't let you know yet, but you know what our next episode's going to be on? It's the rehab process. So we also had, and so we're going to talk about the rehab process, which is one of the hairiest and most complex parts of the job. And we have one amazing rehab team. I'm not talking rehab from alcohol. I'm talking rehab wheelchair. What does that look like? Because we have a lot of team members who are dedicated to the process. I've talked to so many DME companies. Oh, we get into it, but it's too complicated. It's actually not that complicated, and we'd love to help others in that area. But that is next week on the podcast. So, hey, thanks for doing this with me, April. And until next week, we will be here to help you take really great care of your team members and patients at offsiteteammember.com.